The first call came on a Tuesday night at 11:47 p.m. I was almost asleep when my phone buzzed. I looked at the screen. The caller ID showed my own name and number. I thought it was a glitch, some kind of spoofing error. I answered and heard nothing. Just silence, the kind that has weight to it, like someone holding a phone but not speaking. I said hello 3 times. Then the call ended. I checked my call log. It showed an incoming call from my own number, 47 seconds long. I told myself it was a spam spoof. Then it happened again the next night. Same time, same number, same silence. By the 4th night, I'd stopped answering. The phone would ring at 11:47, show my number. I'd let it go to voicemail. The voicemails were what changed everything. The first one was 30 seconds of soft breathing. In and out, rhythmic, like someone sleeping. I assumed it was an accidental pocket dial from a spoofed number. The second voicemail, the next night, was longer. 1 minute and 12 seconds. Still just breathing, but there was something underneath it. A faint sound, like fabric moving, like someone shifting in bed. The breathing was deep and even. Peaceful, like whoever left the message was asleep. And it sounded like my bedroom.
The third voicemail I could hear more. There was a clock ticking in the background. I have an old wind-up clock on my nightstand. The ticking matched the rhythm exactly. And underneath the breathing, barely audible, there was another sound. A soft, rhythmic creak. Like someone standing next to a bed, shifting their weight from foot to foot, waiting. The breathing on the voicemail was coming from the bed. The creaking was coming from someone standing beside it. I listened with headphones, volume maxed. The breathing was mine. I recognized my own breathing pattern, the way I exhale through my nose when I'm deeply asleep. It was a recording of me sleeping.
I called my cell provider. They said it was impossible to receive a call from your own number and that it must be spoofing. They checked for any unauthorized access to my account. Nothing. They suggested I change my number. I did. New number, new SIM card. The first night with the new number, at 11:47 p.m., my phone rang. The caller ID showed my new number. The one I'd gotten that morning, that no one else had yet. I hadn't even given it to my family. I let it go to voicemail. The voicemail was 4 minutes long. It was me sleeping. But this time, the creaking was louder. Closer to the phone.
I went to the police. They took a report, but there wasn't much they could do without evidence of a crime. An officer suggested I set up a camera in my bedroom to see if someone was physically entering my apartment while I slept. I bought 2 cameras, one aimed at the bed, one at the door. I set them to record overnight. That night, the call came at 11:47 as usual. I let it ring to voicemail. In the morning, I checked the voicemail first. Same thing, my breathing, the clock, the creaking. Then I checked the cameras. The door camera showed nothing. No one entered. The door never opened.
At 11:47 p.m., the camera showed me asleep in bed. At 11:48, the phone on the nightstand lit up, showing an incoming call. I watched myself not wake up. I watched the phone ring out, and the voicemail notification appear. But here's what made my stomach turn. At 11:49, the bed camera showed movement in the corner of the frame, near the window. A shape, barely visible, like a shadow that was slightly too solid. It moved toward the bed. The camera showed the shape standing over me for 4 minutes while I slept, while my phone recorded the voicemail that I would later listen to. The shape was standing where the creaking came from. I showed the footage to the police. They enhanced the video. The shape wasn't a shadow. It was a person, thin, wearing dark clothing, face obscured. But the officer pointed out something I'd missed. The figure was holding something. A phone, pressed to where its ear would be. The figure was holding a phone up while standing over me, and the phone was lit, like it was on a call. My call. The figure was calling me, from my own number, while standing over my sleeping body. I asked how that was possible. The officer said it wasn't, not technically, but the footage was real. I hadn't faked it. I hung up and ran to my parents' room. They were awake. I told them everything. My father went through the house with a baseball bat, checked every room, every closet, every window. Nothing. All locked. My mother called the police. An officer came. I showed him the call log. My number, incoming, 11:47 p.m. I showed him the voicemails from before. He listened to the latest one, the one where my voice spoke. He was quiet for a long time. He said the voice on the recording sounded exactly like me. Same cadence, same accent, same slight lisp I have on the letter S. The detective assigned suggested the calls were coming from an app that could spoof numbers and that someone with access to my life was doing this. They asked about stalkers, exes, anyone obsessed. I couldn't think of anyone. Then I remembered something. 3 months ago, I'd started seeing a therapist named Dr. Webb. He'd been recommended by a colleague. In our sessions, he'd asked me to record myself sleeping as part of a sleep study he said he was conducting. I'd sent him audio recordings of myself sleeping. 2 weeks of them. He had my voice, my breathing patterns, my clock ticking in the background. He had everything. The detective looked into Dr. Webb. The office where I'd been seeing Dr. Webb was a rented suite in a medical building. The building manager said the suite had been rented 6 months ago by a man using a fake name, paying cash monthly. He described him as quiet, polite, kept odd hours. The suite was empty when they checked. He'd cleared out everything. No records, no files, just an empty room with a chair and a desk. But on the desk, the detective found something. A printed photo of me, sleeping, in my old apartment, in the exact bed, from the exact angle that the shadow figure had been standing at. He'd been in my apartment. The detective traced the fake name and the cash payments as far as he could. Dead ends. The man had been careful, but they found one thing. A burner phone, discarded in a trash can outside the medical building. They pulled the call history. The phone had been calling my number every night at 11:47 p.m., using a spoofing app to display my own number. But that wasn't the worst part. The burner phone's photo gallery had 847 photos. All of me. At work, at the grocery store, in my apartment, at my parents' house. Photos taken over the past 4 months, spanning both locations. He'd been following me the entire time. The police set up surveillance on my parents' house. For 5 days, nothing. No calls, no photos, no sign of anyone. On the 6th day, the detective called me. They'd found where the man had been staying. A rental property 3 blocks from my parents' house. He'd rented it 6 weeks ago, before I'd even moved in with my parents. Before I decided to go there. He'd known I would come. The house was cleared out, same as the office. But in the bedroom, they found a mirror mounted on the wall facing the bed. On the mirror, written in what looked like lipstick, were the words, "You sound so peaceful when you sleep."
They never caught him. The investigation went cold. The spoofing app was untraceable, paid for with a prepaid card. The rental properties were leased under fake IDs. The man had been a ghost. I changed my number again, moved to a new city, got a new job. I don't see a therapist anymore. I sleep with the lights on, with a camera running, with my phone in another room. For 2 months, nothing. Then last week, my phone rang at 11:47 p.m. I looked at the screen. It was my new number. I didn't answer. The voicemail was 5 seconds long. It was my voice, clear and calm. It said, "Found you again. This time I'm already inside."
I grabbed the phone and ran. Drove to the police station. They searched my apartment. No one was inside. No signs of entry. The phone was a burner, same kind as before. It had one contact saved, my name, and it had one audio file on it, already recorded. It was 47 minutes long. I listened to it with the detective. It was me sleeping. In my new apartment, in my new bed, in my new city. 47 minutes of me breathing, my clock ticking, and underneath it all, the soft sound of someone breathing too. Someone standing